I know why you guys are here. You're hoping that I will tell you what your purpose is. I'll hold the envelope just like Johnny Carson used to do. Hold it up to my head. Your purpose is. And although that would be really fun to do, that isn't exactly why we're here. But definitely the question is one that we've all pondered, isn't it? I'm sure that your libraries have a book or two that has the word purpose on it. Wouldn't it be great if when we were born, we came with a manual?
And a warrant.
And a warrant. Sending this one back. Just like Walmart, you don't even need a receipt. Wouldn't that be great though if we had the blueprint? How many times I've said that. If someone would just show me the blueprint, I'd be okay. And yet, we're born and there's this game we play for the first, little while of our life that we are inseparable from mom, and we cry, and this extension of ourself does something for us. Every time we squeak or squawk, we get our needs met, and we learn that this mother and these big people in our life are extensions of ourselves. And then something happens at around the age of 2. We start realizing that we're separate. We discover the word no, and we start to feel like we are definitely our own person. But and at first this is kind of exciting because it's like, oh, I get to say, right? And the world used to revolve around me, and it still does, but just in a different way, right? And so we bumble through life, and we try to find out how to get back to that sense of oneness, where we would just ask and we would receive. This leads to interesting experiences and this growing sense of separation. And so we are constantly searching for that way to fit, that way to belong, and the permission that I'm okay and I do belong, I matter, and I'm important. If we feel that we are a feather in the wind, as opposed to someone who's firmly grounded and walking in a direction, there's a real difference in how we interact with the world, isn't there? If we feel like we're just always, subject to cause and effect, and we just really don't have any say, there's a sense of disappointment and bewilderment and confusion that can go along with that. And a real sense of fear too, right? But if we can realize that maybe it's a bit of both, and that we can affect things, but also we can be open to the effect. When we start to feel that separation from our parents, right? We start to feel like I'm unique, I'm an individual, my name is Brenda, I am this person. We start to feel that. Then there's another question that comes up right away, and that's, who am I? Who am I in relation to you? Who am I in relation to you? Who am I in relation to my environment? And going along with that is, what is my purpose there for, right? And from a very young age, I felt that there was something more than just the little people walking around. Although we didn't belong to any organized religion, she just felt that it would be very good for us girls to experience, church. And the local church was in the country, we lived out in the country, and so that was the church we went to. And it wasn't that we were, a member of it, but we just, attended it. And so Sunday school. And I loved Sunday school. I lived for Sunday school. I was just so excited on Saturday night. Be like, yes. And I especially liked the part when we would do worship songs, and they would say, do we have any requests? And every single time, I'd be waving my hand. Yes, Brenda. And I'd say, can we sing Jesus Loves Me? Yes, Brenda, we can say, all right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, Jesus loves me. And every single time, and I was so excited about that, because when I look back in retrospect, in hindsight, what it was is that I was being acknowledged. I was being acknowledged, and of course music, again, that background of music that I come from, it was a way for me to feel connected to something greater. And it was all very interesting to me, but I had no clue, really, about this. I didn't have any clue about the patterns and the structures. And so as I got older, it became even more apparent that I didn't understand that as I tried to share, and I didn't have the knowledge and I didn't have the background, and I started to feel again separate. I started to feel like I didn't belong. And so I had to take a step back from that because it wasn't feeling good anymore. And so as I progressed through life, I always had this question: who am I? And who am I in relation to that greater feeling out there? Who am I in relation to that? And so it sent me on a really cool journey, you know, experiencing a lot of different things. And that's how I became very comfortable with the saying that take what you like and leave the rest. And that when you walk into a function in a facility and you feel that amazing connection, if you can get past the labels, if you can get past the institution idea and just be there, that something wonderful would happen. But what I found was there was also a set of rules. That was difficult for me. And so it took me on some bumpy rides and some corners and up and down and around. But it gave me some very rich and delicious experiences. And I don't regret 1 minute of it. And again, I don't judge anything either because everyone has their own unique experience, right? But that's, I think, one of the reasons why we gather, right? Is to feel that sense of community, feel that sense of connection, that sense of oneness, to feel like we belong, and to feel like what's our, who am I in relation to all of this? And what's my purpose? And I've got a picture of a dandelion because, I mean, we all fight them every year. Their little happy yellow faces come out of the lawn and we go, Killex, Killex, right? And we like get rid of them because they're a weed and they wreck the greenness of our lawn, right? And coming from being a farm girl and a farm background, those weeds came in many different shapes and sizes. And I remember countless hours out there picking sow thistle by hand. It's also a yellow, beautiful, sunshiny, happy flower with a huge root. The knowledge that was told to me was that that's a weed and it's bad. And how is that analogous to how we grow up and we start to make opinions and judgments about who we are in relation to the others in our camp, in our society, right? In our community. Again, when you're a child, you feel there's this connection with everyone and you don't really have those barriers, right? You don't have those sense of barriers. There's a growing sense of that, but mostly you look at people and they're just interesting. You know, they look different, maybe they speak different, but they're interesting. But as you progress and those labels and those judgments are made, then you start to go, well, I don't fit. And who am I? Because after all, wouldn't you agree that sometimes when we think purpose, we think usefulness, right? And so, you know, in the old days when we were just pulling out those weeds, it was because they weren't purposeful. I mean, they were taking room up. They were taking the space up from the things we really wanted to grow, right? So kick them to the curb. So there is that sense, isn't there? Purpose equals usefulness. But this is just to give an example that when we're feeling like we're a misfit, or we're feeling like we don't fit, even if it's not a misfit, it's just like, well, where do I fit? Or I'm a little self-conscious because I'm not sure. That it's just because you haven't recognized your own virtues, right? It's just because I haven't recognized my own virtues. And it's the same when we judge other people too, isn't it?